Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Since the other day I've had heaps of interest in this page, how I did it, what colours I used, so I just thought that I would share that. First of all, the colours I used were Prismacolors. This technique is important to use Prismacolors as they're just so smooth you can push the colours together. So the colours I used were Cerulean Blue, which is 103, Copenhagen Blue 906, and non-photo blue, which is 919. So I'll start off by explaining how I did the technique, and then I have actually gone ahead and drawn up a little, what would you call it, like a little sketch of this page, just so I can recreate the technique for you guys. So hopefully you'll enjoy watching this today. So I'll start by just explaining the technique quickly. I started by drawing these darker shapes just randomly, just random shapes all over the page, and then I went and outlined them with the medium blue, and then finally I went ahead and used the lightest, brightest blue everywhere to bring it all together and blend the piece together. So as you can see, for a start, hopefully you can see, I'll zoom in a little bit, it's not perfect. It's sort of rough because the other thing is obviously this isn't realistic looking water, it's my stylized version of water, and so the edges are a bit rough, but when the whole page is completed it's got a really cool technique. So the other thing I just wanted to share before I actually get on to doing the technique was this page, which I remembered I had done, and it's a kind of a similar technique which I used with polychromos pencils instead, or they could have even just been straight out Faber-Castell classic pencils. You can see it's a much more crisp look to it. I did lots of little circles in the dark blue, and then I just went ahead and did a light blue in between them, and occasionally smudged them out with a white just to give a ripple effect. So that's another look that I created. Obviously not realistic again, just a stylized look. Okay, so I'll get onto this page now. The lighting's not great. It's the middle of the night, and one of those nights where I just couldn't sleep, so I decided, hey, I have this crazy idea in my head of just doing this video, so why not? Starting by doing those random dark blue shapes, drawing them anywhere, and I'll just apologise for any shadows you can see on the screen again. Now the first time I did this picture I used a lot heavier hand for a start, and I just wanted to see if maybe trying to do a lighter layer first, if I can get it a bit smoother. The thing with creating random shapes is you want to be random. It's really easy for your mind to start creating a pattern, so the best way is to sort of just keep looking at the overall thing that you're designing to try and stop that from happening. Okay, so now that I've got the rough shapes in, I'll just go and darken them up, pressing nice and firmly. But when I get to the edges of my shape, I'm just going to soften it out a little bit. Just apologise for the noise, the background noise as well. It's the middle of the night, so I need my heat pump going. Okay, so you can see I've got all of those shapes in there now, and so I'm going to use Cerulean Blue now. I'm just going to go around the edges of all of them, and into the colour. I'm using a heavy hand, really blending out those edges and then just going into it. And at this point I'll be joining some of the colours, or some of those shapes together with this colour. But not completely, I want to sort of leave little pathways for the lighter blue. Okay, so let's compare it to my picture that I had already completed so far. So yeah, I've just drawn those random shapes in there, the dark blue, and then gone over with the medium blue. At this stage, if there's anything that you weren't happy with, when you put the blue in, it can sort of set it. I mean, the light blue can sort of set it in place. So if you're not happy with harsh lines, putting the light blue in may just push them into place that you won't be able to get them out all of that easy. I might just blend this out a bit more. When I originally did this picture, just like now, I did it quite quickly and that wasn't really so much of a concern for me. I just went straight over the top and thought I'll work with it. The other thing is, if there was any patches you wanted to darken up, you could go ahead and do that as well. I'm reasonably happy with how this is looking, so I'm going to go ahead and put in the non-photo blue. You can use any colour combinations that you like. If I remember, I'll show you what I'm working on at the moment, which is kind of a similar technique, except it's making more of a... I was inspired by a galaxy sort of background, except it's my own take on that and it's a bit different. So you can see this light blue blends it out, but if there are any harsh lines in there, they're going to be stuck in there forever at the same point. So if you just sort of if you didn't want those, to just go softly around the edges of your shape, do more of a slow transition, that medium colour, sorry. You could also go one step further by just, like, I've left a little bit of like a patch here. You could go in with a white Prismacolor, but I'm just going to do the same colours I used the other day. Now, if you're using this technique for a background like I am, it's so bold, you really need to match it with the foreground. You need to be making a bold statement there too. If you went for a more softer approach, the two don't really, in my opinion, go together. It's such a bold, strong background, you need a bold, strong foreground as well. Keep going until all the gaps are covered. Might want to go back in with that medium blue. I always like to finish off with that lighter colour again, just because I find it blends it out so nicely. Sort of melts the whole page together. And there we have it. So you can see how much of a difference it makes when you get the whole picture completed. It can just look a little bit average when it's just the water, but when the whole page is completed, it really comes together quite nicely. And like I said, like, it's pretty rough, but you could do it smoother if you took more time. Like, literally that's taken me less than half an hour there. That's probably taken me about 15 minutes to create, and that is a lot of page. How much in comparison to the colouring book? I mean, that's like I've coloured that much. So right, so I'll show you the other page that I've been working on. Let's zoom out a little. So currently I've been working on this page, which is a very similar technique of using the Prismacolors to really melt the colour all together. I've used a selection of dark purples and blues and greys, and just really pushed all the pencil into the paper in random blobs. As you can see, it's not so much of a pattern design as it is with the water. It's more of a blended out, dispersed colour. So hopefully this video has helped you see the exact technique that I've used to create this page. I also went ahead and used a spray fixative, which the one I use is by PBO, I think. Well, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that, PBO, and it also sort of melts the colour into the page, so it's nice and smooth now, nothing comes off on my hand, and yeah, it sort of all combines all the layers of crayon together in a nice way, but that's not necessary. This is still fine, but you'll notice if you rub your hand over it, you will get blue off on your finger. But thanks so much for watching again, and I will see you next time. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and click the like button. Bye!